Well, hello and welcome to this particular show, which has been a year in the making. Now, what we got going on here is we're going to drain the custom loop we built last year with our coolant solution that we had last year. And come the tail end of, you got it, last year, we had built up and done some computer work, and we put this thing together, and we were learning how to build a mini tower. Custom loop, and I went through all the bits about it, about why I did what I did. Well, let's roll the title, and we'll come back and talk. Well, here we are, like I said, a year later. And we're going to check things out because it had been a while since I had done anything computer-wise, and I was a little bit rusty, and I had built interim machine. It all kind of comes back to you, but you may be a little bit out of the swing of things when you quit for over 10, 15 years of working with computers. You really don't want to get back into it because it's worse than good Cuban cigars, or fine Kentucky bourbon. You can end up spending your money pretty quickly. So, or in this case, a gaming computer, if you build a gaming computer. But I built it for editing. And that's what I do. So let's look at things. So when I was looking at how to cool it, I was looking at some ridiculous prices, and I was looking online and catching all you guys, your Reddits and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just too old to go for all that stuff. I like to build something and then not have to fix it until it's just absolutely necessary. Well, I use this product. It is Hypercool. Rizlones Hypercool. Say it with me. Rizlones Hypercool. All right. And it's made for race cars. You know what race cars run on? Water and something to keep it from boiling and to keep the corrosion down and to make it run cooler. And that's what this does. It actually kind of works like a surfactant. And so it helps it breaks the tension down in the water, and so it works against the metals better. Now, I don't know that it's necessarily it says prevents overheating, provides maximum corrosion resistance, which is one of the things I wanted, and reduces temperature. All right, so here we are, like I said, a year later. By the way, before I show you this, I'm dead serious. Coveting someone else's stuff is a sin. So don't be coveting my Bama glass, which we don't do Bama jelly anymore. Bama glass and my Scooby-Doo. What is this one? Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. All right. But what's in here are some copper pieces, some aluminum pieces, some rubber, some O-rings off of this. And this has been in here over a year in pure Rizlones Hypercool. Okay. Because I wanted to see if it would react in the long term. And we're getting ready to drain the water out of the system. And this has been running as heated and done all this bit. We also were looking at something maybe we could use to knock the microbes down if we were to get some in there. And we were investigating. I didn't use this because when I did the MDS material safety data sheet and I looked at it, the compounds they were saying were corrosive to copper. They were reactive. So I didn't use it, but I want to see, well, it's if I thin it down with just a tiny, tiny bit, about how much would that work? And I tried to find some non-oxidizing biological killers for my germs that we would use in a chilling tower, like HVAC, that big commercial chilling towers. And it works because we use those. They're non-oxidizing. They do real good. The problem is I don't need a $250 gallon, for a gallon jug or 2 gallon jug, whatever it was, to put in an entire evaporative cooling tower, because I don't have a high-rise building that needs that much, germicide in it. So I thought, well, let me see what I can get. So I got what I use around the house is what Zep Biologic is a killer of the lemon flavored, and it said it would be corrosive. And I thought, well, let's just see how corrosive it would be. Now this is pure stuff here, and as you can see, we did react with the copper just as we anticipated because we looked up the ingredients. But I don't know if we can see real close with that, if I can get it in there. So it didn't dissolve it, but it certainly reacted with it. And So I didn't have any of that. So I just had pure distilled water and, of course, Rizlones. Hypercool. Cool. Okay, so I use that green stuff. How did it work? That's what we're getting ready to see. I'm getting ready to drain the unit down, put it in a bucket, and we'll see what we got. Unfortunately, the bottom of the bucket, the water's so clear, the bottom of the bucket shows through, and you can hardly see, you can hardly see anything in it. But you don't see it cloudy, right? You don't see it all clouded up, and you don't see slimy stuff in it. Worked well, I think. So let's go check that. If you like this content, please go to calldeltosell.com, find the tab that says on YouTube, click it, and it'll open up a page of QR codes. There you can use a smartphone to scan and get to the YouTube page, or you can just mouse over and click it on a PC. There you'll be able to subscribe to this little button over here and click the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you. Thank you. Well, hello, YouTube. If you followed the building of this machine I call the Beast, last year, this is the first time, nearly a full year. We've got some experiments with some of the water treatment that we used. Gonna post them after a year. That would be February 21st when I set those experiments up. So this is about a year. And, if you use water cooling and you use enough volume of air, you don't have to necessarily have high speed. You see, we're not dusty. We're not terribly dusty. So Ken's 1.25, Ken's 2 bits or whatever it is, when he was explaining how airflow works, I don't think he actually understands. He told me that I was an idiot and, I had to walk around knowing that. Well, here we go. We'll look at our water. We do have a little bit of a water ring up at the top where we'll clean out our glass here. Getting ready to drain her. There we are in our situation. But do you see a lot of crap, a lot of dust in here? No, because you don't normally need it. Now, these fans on this, they got a little dust on them because they're still in circuit. I put them in circuit even though it's water blocked just to kind of keep the memory and the rest of the chips cool down, because this water block only covers the GPU. So I left those in circuit and I have them where they do run. They will crank up. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't look too dirty for a year's worth of use, does it? You tell me. You tell me. It's not about likes and all that kind of crap. It's about the engineering. Well, we still have a little bit of green in it, but that's from the material we used for the anti-oxidizing type of action going on there. Keep it from rusting, the anti-corrosion inhibitor thing. Now, got her turned up on her side to drain. Do want to hit this one more time about the concept of cooling your PC. Let it breathe. And of course, like I said in that previous video, we got big fans in it. We have them running very, very low, barely even can hear them. But that's a year's worth of dust from below the 280. And on top, yeah, there's a little bit of dust on that screen, but not bad. If I come over to the back panel, there's really nothing to speak of. There's a little bit in there. I'm going to hose that off here a little bit. I had already rinsed these guys off. I'm sorry about that. We'll just have to let them dry. But anyway, yep, you can see the back of it. You can see the power supply. Does the power supply look overly gunky or anything like that? No. So if you don't burn your unit up, even though you can overclock the crap out of it, just keep her cool. Now, if you can stand it, we're going to look at what came out of those two. Now, this is the Rizolone, which is not supposed to be corrosive. It's supposed to actually work for anti-corrosion and make your water loops cooler if your water loop is a race car. So anyway, here we have some of these washers. I don't know that any of these are stainless. I think all these are aluminum. And we see, of course, some of the O-rings that came off some of the fittings, some copper. It's just copper wire we cut through in there as a source of copper. Now, this is what came out of the, what did I call that stuff? Anyway, the biologic to kill off stuff, the lemon-flavored Zep that we knew when we looked at the ingredients would be a little corrosive. We just didn't know how corrosive. And you see what it's done in those cases of those washers. It completely ate the coating off of it, the plating off of them. And this is some more wire, and you can see on the edge here, if I turned it up, you can see it started to really blacken that. Of course, tubing and O-ring. And this one, I think, was a stainless steel washer. So I don't know if that's any interest to you. I don't know that this, since this was pure ZEP, which had a diluted form of that particular compound that kills things off, I don't think I would use it because I don't want it to plug up. I did notice that we had some of these little parts here, had built some crystalline structure inside of it. I don't know if this is the piece or not. Yeah, see those little crystals? So it was doing something, it was reacting to something. I don't think I'd want that to plug up my tubes in my radiators, and I certainly wouldn't want it to eat through. I don't know that it would eat through, but it just wouldn't be a good thing to have because it does react, it does oxidize. Well, that's it. And as always, if you'd like to support the channel and you happen to drink coffee, I do custom roast for my upstairs roastery. Try to keep myself busy as I get older and more broken down. I need something to keep busy because you just have to. So with that, we have coffee at single origin. There is a social aspect to it. Not only are you helping me, the poor old disabled guy on the internet, but you're also helping these small farms and cooperatives all over the developing world where they produce coffee, and we would like them to produce coffee rather than cocaine or fentanyl or anything else like that. So it is a little bit more expensive than what you get, but we did have the bias. All of my bags are 1 pound, which just accentuates any like on some of these special, like I've got a honey I might be doing next. I've got a few of them I'm looking at. So they're expensive coffees for me to buy, much less for me than to roast. That takes me the time and produce it for you. But if you want to help, buy some coffee. If I deliver to your state where you're at, I only do United States and don't do international markets. And of course, do the subscribing bit, if you will, and share me out if you find these videos any good. You could use, as far as I'm concerned, you can put this video on your website as a link to your website. I don't care. We'll do that if you like. Just get me out there. Help me spread my digital footprint. You guys are what helps me do this stuff. And the reason I continue to do it, because, it takes time to photograph all this stuff. And as slow as I move anymore these days, I probably wouldn't take near as long if I didn't have to then come back and do all this stuff. So yeah, do the subscribe, hit the notification bell so you see when we post a video, and do share me out there. I'm just trying to keep this going.